Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. It's Paulie, Esther here. And today Dead by Daylight gave us a glimpse at their work-in-progress changes that they plan to make to the revamped HUD. Now I don't know if you're aware of this, but on Tuesday we had mid-chapter 18.5 come out, and along with that came a brand new heads-up display that took all of the familiar information about the game and spread it all around the screen. And I dare say that the majority of the community who play the game were not happy with these changes, and some people will even question why that this revamped HUD went through at all, since we had seen it in the PTB 3 weeks ago and there was so much displeasure expressed about it then. Dead by Daylight in their last Q&A session said that the reason that they decided to go forward with the heads-up display the way that it was is that they wanted to give the entire community a chance to experience this new HUD and then take feedback from all of those people before they decided to make any changes, if they were going to change anything at all. Now, there's some people who think that that's hogwash and it should have been enough based on the PC players' reaction who had played it in the PTB to not go forward with it. I myself think that's a fair consideration to allow the entire community to look at it and experience it before making any changes. But you know, your opinion on that may differ. I think that it's a little egocentrical to allow the entire PC base to make decisions that are aesthetic for the whole community. And I've even seen a lot of tweets from people on console who say that they like the new HUD on their television. That's neither here nor there. At the end of the day, the majority of the people do not like the HUD. Some have even expressed that it makes them motion sick to look around at so much of the screen moving their head that they have gotten headaches and gotten motion sickness from needing to look around at all the different elements on the screen being spread out everywhere. So it seemed that, yes, at the end of the day, there needs to be some changes made, and Dead by Daylight is headed in the direction to make some of those changes. So today, they gave us this tweet that will show us what this is going to look like. So we'll show you here this tweet. It says, here's a preview of the changes we'll be making to the heads-up display. Following your feedback, please note that this is a work in progress. We're still actively working on making changes, which will appear with the second bug fix patch. So right now we are on version 4.5 of the game. Bug fix patch number 1 will be 4.5.1. This will not roll out until 4.5.2. And then it goes on to say here, a quick list of the most notable changes: lowered survivor statuses, lowered the hook counter, moved objects from the top to the bottom left, removed text from objectives, and skill checks now have their own user interface scaling option. So here's the new HUD on my screen. This is what the new version will look like. You can see all that work in progress watermark. If you're not familiar with what the HUD looked like before they changed this, I'll go ahead and roll a little clip here so that you can check it out. Take him! Put him into the void! Get rid of this monster! Send him into the Phantom Zone! I cast this demon to the pits of hell! Be gone, Quentin! Okay, in case you didn't catch those changes, I'll show it to you again, but I'll mute the audio. So obviously when this new HUD came in, I had to lower my camera down. It looks like with this work in progress corrected version, I'll be able to have my camera in its normal, natural spot. We'll go over a few of the elements here on this the HUD version that came out on Tuesday. So you can see here that at the very top middle of the screen we have how many generators remain in the game. The character names are all on the top left hand side here. with their profile pictures for who the characters are. They have scratches across the face to show who is injured. You can still see who is the obsession by the entity clause surrounding it. There's nothing in the bottom left here, and the perks are still there on the right. So now they have shifted those character profiles down to the bottom left here. You still have the scratches across their face. I don't know if there's anything else different about that other than the positioning of it. The generator counter, you can see, is in the bottom left here where it says 1 generator remaining. It's not in the top middle anymore. And this hook counter here, you see this little hook with the three red hash marks around the circle. That was in the middle left of the screen, so that's been brought down too. So they're trying to move everything into a more concise area. Again, this still isn't the final version. This is just, they're showing us that they have heard what people have said and they are working on it. Now I'm going to go through a few of these different questions that I saw on this Twitter thread that I thought that you would appreciate, just to bring it a little more in depth in how they are communicating with the community to let them know, yes, we've heard you, and taking their feedback and things like that. So we'll go back to these tweets and we'll just go through them one by one here. So Esther Brainrot says, it's definitely better. Is there any consideration to be given for the size and location of the struggle bar for hook survivors? I've had a very hard time seeing the progress bar in its previous location and size. So the bars here for like when someone's on a hook would be right above the names or below the names of the characters beside their profiles. They're very tiny, so people have had a hard time making out like just how much blood they have left before they die on the hook. Mend bars are also very small, so that's what that question is referring to. And Dead by Daylight went on to answer, I can definitely say that there's talks about the hook bleed out bars going on. I'm unsure if there will be changes for those in time for bug fix patch 4.5.2, but it's 100% on our radar. Next question, let's see here, by Ayumi Yuko. Better, but why is the gen symbol so small? The main goal needs to be bigger compared to add-ons we chose to put on in loadout. Why do the survivors have to be vertical? Also, low-key, I like the way the new skill checks look. It makes it easier for me to hit them. I hope they keep that, not gonna lie. All good feedback, thank you. Skill checks aren't going anywhere. They'll be just as smooth as they are now, only you'll be able to change their scaling separately. So if you want small HUD but big skill checks, you can. So they're going to allow that skill check in the center of the screen. You can scale that up or down. Some people who have very high res monitors, the skill check winds up being small initially, and they feel like it's harder to hit the skill check. So if you can scale that up, then that might make it easier to hit skill checks. So I like that they have separated the skill check as part of the scaling. And I also like that they have that black background on the skill check, because sometimes if you have a skill check come out where a background whites it out, it can be hard to see the skill check. So I do enjoy that change to the skill check. Next question here. I still find the deep wound and bleed timers a tad too small. Since I'm on console, my TV is about 6 feet above me, so I can't tell if I can make it to a hook. We hear you. The deep wound and bleed out bars will be larger. I'm unsure if this will be ready for 4.5.2 or at a later update. At the moment, we'll try to get confirmation. Question, why can't you just make the UI completely customizable? This comes from Guy. I'm really fond of the current one, actually, so having the option to just move stuff around would be nice. Great question. In order to do that, we would need to make a lot of changes behind the scenes, as well as working on new UI to allow you to move stuff around. Obviously, that would be great to have, but even if we started working on it right now, it wouldn't be ready anytime soon. For now, we're aiming to address what we can as soon as we can, which is fair. I think we would all like to see just some minor changes made as soon as possible rather than waiting for, perfection. May I ask when this will be released? I take it that it's with the first bug fix. Will that be next week or the following week? This heads-up display is definitely a step in the right direction, though. It will be the second bug fix patch, so not 4.5.1, but 4.5.2. Again, don't know the timeline of this. I'm assuming we'll see 4.5.1 on Tuesday at the latest. Hopefully 4.5.1 which won't have anything to do with this heads-up display. Hopefully that'll help with the desync issue with hitboxes. It's nicer, but maybe fix up the design so it has all the same aesthetic. It looks like 3 different styles. We've noted that feedback down, but for now we're aiming to change what we can in time for 4.5.2. Don't worry, there's still plenty of discussion going on behind the scenes. That was from Ryan. And Ryan also went on to say, if you guys see this, also bring up the red on top of red for the exhaustion meter if it hasn't been brought up yet, please. And they said, we've taken note of that too. Some people don't like that the exhaustion status effect is red on red, and then they have a hard time determining where they're at on it. Thanks, but it could use more simplification on the survivors. Use the assets you already have with the Adept Survivor achievements. We don't need full color portraits of them. This comes from Dexy. Dexy says, this is good feedback, and I'm happy to take it to the team. Thank you. So they have those whited out, like, almost, I guess they're not really silhouettes. They're white out profile pictures of all the characters, saying we don't need full color. Just keep it simple. Just make it white profile pics of the survivors, and we'll be good. Now I Manoob says, this is a good start, but I think we would all appreciate the gen counter being larger. This is good feedback, thank you. This is still a very early preview, so we're hoping to polish it a bit more before it ends up in your hands. Can we look into this issue, hopefully? If you don't know, some of the emblems are broken, and they aren't working properly to allow people to pip, so people are losing ranks even if they perform well. And they said this one is in quality assurance's hands as we speak, and it is a high priority issue. Personally, unless you're going for a rank 1 achievement, I don't think it's a big issue whether you're ranking up or down. Matchmaking has, very rarely taken rank into account from what I have seen lately, so I don't think ranking up or down is a really big issue at this moment in time, especially since they plan to most likely in the middle of March roll out this matchmaking rating, which is going to rank people on a skill level that has nothing to do with rank, and rank will be solely used for ranking up for achievements and for rewards from month to month, and won't be used in matchmaking at all. So it's it's weird that it's broken, but for me it's not a big deal. Let's see. Thank you for listening to the community. You guys are doing great. My only suggestion is maybe could you have the faces stay under the hooked icon, because at a glance my friend and I keep mistakenly thinking the hooked people were dead since the face is gone. That comes from Just Amber. This is good stuff. I'll note it down. So you see that the devs have taken a lot of this feedback from the tweet about it, and they want to work with the community on this and get it right. What's right for you might not be right for everyone, but they're definitely taking down a lot of notes and deciding what to do with them. It's nice, but the names and bars should stand out more. This is something we're hoping to address as well, particularly on the lighter backgrounds like Orman. It can be hard to make out the text sometimes. It's on our list for changes. Yeah, with that generator remaining in the middle of the screen at the top, if I'm got the Sky of Orman in there, the white on white, it's very hard to read for sure. Marth said, I would recommend the portraits going in the original place with it on the left. It does block some POV for killers and survivors. That way it's not in the way, but glad to see it. So what Marth's talking about here is saying that all this stuff on the left hand side is gonna block killers looking for stuff, because it's gonna have all of this in their vision, and he believes that it would be better suited along the bottom where we have always had it. I'm not really sure why they chose to move it from the bottom. It could just be a crowding issue just based on necessary space. I wish it was in the bottom as it always was, and just add those profile pictures to it. but that's not where we're at in time. But I can see what Marth's saying here. Like, you have all of this almost, graffiti on the left that's obscuring your vision while you're trying to hunt down for survivors, and that winds up being in your way, which I guess is probably why they give you the option to scale it, so you can choose how much, or how big or how small the obtrusiveness is going to be. So, and just a couple more question and answers here. Let's see. Work on the hitboxes first. They are the real issue. User interfaces is just nitpicking, and they made a joke that all the killers have Freddy's lunge right now because they can hit you from a mile away. And Dead by Daylight answered, "We are working on both at the same time. The user interfaces team's work has no impact on the investigation into hits following the rollout of mid-chapter patch 4.5.0. Sky says, "What about the survivor animations? The ones before were a lot better. The new animations, they're standing straight as a board, and the injured animation doesn't look good. I prefer the old animations." But hey, you can stand up straight right behind a tree and hide, though. Dead by Daylight says, "We're going through the feedback on the survivor animations the same way we've done for the heads-up display feedback. There are some things we're looking into right now, but unfortunately I don't have a final list I can share just yet. We'll keep you posted once it's locked down." And then VRG says, "What about movement speed for survivors who can't 360 anymore or run as fast?" Now, survivors feel like they can't run as quickly as they could before. I think that this is not true. It's just visually playing tricks on your head, in your mind. You are running as fast as you were always. Now, if you're changing direction, that might be something different. I'm not entirely sure about that. But running in a straight line or looping around, you shouldn't be any slower than you were before. Dead by Daylight says, "Our team is looking into feedback for movement as well. Your movement speed is functionally the same as before, though it may feel like you're slower due to the animations. We'll keep you posted once we have news to share." Either Survivor's a lot slower, or you did something to buff killer speeds across the board. Killers are catching up to us a lot faster. I don't know that that's genuinely true. I don't feel like it's true. I think that we just feel slower because of the animations. But I have seen some survivors like trip over their feet when they're trying to change directions, and they just, when I'm playing killer, it looks like they're just standing still straight up against me sometimes. It's kind of weird. I don't know what's going on, but I was having some severe desync issues as killer, so I thought the desync issue was only happening to the survivors, but apparently, lucky me, I could have desync as killer, and I wasn't as close to the survivors as I thought I was, because I was like scratching my hands on their back and it wasn't hitting, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. So lucky me, I got desync on both sides, where when I played survivor, I was closer to the killer than it appeared, and when I played killer, I was further away from the survivors than it appeared. So good times for me in Dead by Daylight right now. Okay, anyway, so this is what we're looking at for this work in progress for the new HUD. I hope you enjoyed having a look at it. Again, this still isn't its final form, but it does seem to be a step in the right direction. It can definitely improve a lot more. I did see one other comment said, why do we need this mouse right button for set trap twice on the screen? It seems like that's a little redundant information. That's another thing that could be changed. I'm assuming all the scoring events are still going to be in the top right hand corner where we saw them before, but we'll see how this all turns out. But I am gratified to see that Dead by Daylight has taken this seriously and decided to look at this and do what they believe the players want. Me personally, I feel like the text is a little small. I don't appreciate having to break out my bifocals to read the players' names or see the bleed out bars, and everything could be a bit brighter and bigger for me. So I need that large print crossword puzzle book version of the heads up display, please. All All right, I'm going to leave you with me one more time, trying to cast the demon that is Quentin out of our game, throwing... in case any of you are wondering what this clip is, this is the red glyph challenge that you select on your challenges in the archives, where the red glyph appears in the map, and I'm just spamming communing with the glyph while Quentin is standing inside of it, and I'm pretending like I'm going to cast him out like a demon. Here we go. Take him! Put him into the void! Get rid of this monster! Send him into the Phantom Zone! I cast this demon to the pits of hell! Be gone, Quentin! It didn't work. I couldn't get rid of that Gollum version of Quentin and make way for the beautiful actor Kyle Gallner portrayed version of Quentin to come into the game. But I tried. Maybe one day we'll get a rework on that Quentin facial model and get the Kyle Gallner version in the game. Fingers crossed. Oh, and if you wonder what was happening with my face, that wasn't the worst Freddy cosplay you've ever seen. I had heart stickers stuck all over my face as a stream challenge. So that's what's on my face there. All right, thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think about the HUD, the proposed changes. Is it enough? Do you want to see more? If so, what? Let me know in the comments below. As always, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notify bell so you don't miss a single one of these super duper informative videos. Have a great day, everybody. Take care of each other in and out of the fog. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.